Ringside! How y'all doing? It's your boy Johnny Beck with my man Dr. Adam K. And when wrestling is in critical condition, we're here with the Ringside Diagnosis. So, we've been making some heat this week, huh?
Yeah, I've been hearing about the Eddie Guerrero not being memorable, and I am defending that take. Dominic made it memorable, and I've been hearing the wrestling marks out there trying to explain why he's not memorable, and I'm just like, no, that's not good. That's not a good explanation. I just see rage. I see people not understanding why, and he's saying we don't have no ball knowledge and all that stuff. Like, it just was annoying to see that. And I get it. There's wrestling marks out there that are trying to use what we say because John and I are, famous creators in the social media space, and they're trying to, use us as a stepping stone. But I also saw the other regular people, regular wrestling marks on the comments explaining why Eddie Guerrero is memorable without Dominic and saying my take was crazy. But we need to address like the elephant in the room. Eddie Guerrero is not an innovator. The fans claim he is. He's not. He's repackaged. His tag team partner, Art Barr's Jackknife Splash, which is now the Frog Splash, was stolen by Eddie Guerrero from him after he died. And then the Japanese suplex chains. Hey, John, it was there. You could search it up. Eddie Guerrero never did the Frog Splash. It was his partner, Art Barr.
Yeah, but to the defense, sorry to interrupt, but to the defense, a lot of the finishes that we love, you too, that you love, they're all stolen. They're not original.
But people always don't remember that. They say Frog Splash was Eddie's move. Frog Splash Eddie was special and all that stuff. No, it was stolen. It wasn't.
Nobody said it was Eddie's move. Everybody.
A lot of people said, "Oh, Eddie's Frog Splash was great," and Eddie doesn't even have the best Frog Splash in the game.
Who does?
Logan Paul has a way better frog splash than Eddie Guerrero.
You must be out your mind.
No, he's not. I'm not out of my mind. It is facts. He does it more athletically. He does it more precisely. He even does the emotes and the landing so smooth and clean. And people need to realize that modern wrestling is overtaking what's been done in the past. Rob Van Dam to me will always be number one, but number two is Eddie Guerrero. Oh no. My bad. No, edit this.
Yeah, you said it. You said it. You said it. You just said it.
No, you're editing it, John. You're editing it. Don't add this on the final clip. Don't add this on the final clip. Number one will always be Rob Van Dam. Number two will always be Logan Paul. And number three will always be Eddie Guerrero. Because Logan Paul has a definitely better frog splash than Eddie Guerrero.
Who do you think Logan Paul took the idea of the frog splash from? Who do you think did it first? Eddie did. He was one of the first guys who would jump from the turnbuckle, not into the ring, but outside of the ring. He was one of the first guys to do it. Where do you think Logan Paul took that idea from?
Doesn't matter. Eddie's legacy is nothing more than a ghost kept on life support by Dominic Mysterio. And Dominic Mysterio is the true cultural phenomenon. I see people have his haircuts all over the place. Dominic is carrying the heel persona in the wrestling business better than anybody right now, better than even MJF. And he generates more raw heat with a single microphone than Eddie could ever do with his lowriders. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, and again, I'm done with this, like, oh, Eddie he's for the community, he's for that, he's for everything. Eddie is only out there because of his sudden passing, which was horrible. But it's because of his passing and all the nostalgia behind that raw emotional scene and that being carried over for many generations to come. Like, Eddie is just a nostalgia act. His wrestling is not great. Like, it's
nostalgia act, not great. What have you been smoking, my man? What are you smoking down there in Boston?
Bro, Liv Morgan literally does Eddie Guerrero's moves a lot better with more precision in the ring. Sasha Banks,
the only reason she actually does it is because, like, they want to see the chest, the bosoms, if you know what I'm saying.
Nah, man, I'm telling you, we have wrestlers that are doing Eddie Guerrero's moves better, which is becoming their own thing. And I heard Sherilyn Guerrero is trying to become a wrestler and try to carry that family name into the business. That's not needed anymore. We already have Liv Morgan. We have Logan Paul doing his thing with the frog splash, and we have Dominic Mysterio carrying that legacy and making Eddie Guerrero memorable. If a real
That don't
Guerrero
mean. Oh, you
was
just
to come
said
to,
making Eddie Guerrero memorable. So he
yeah,
is memorable.
yeah, because of Dominic. That's my whole thing.
Nope.
Eddie Guerrero is memorable because of Dominic. That's a fact.
Just what I thought you were getting on my good side. Okay.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
But
So
like in all defense, whenever somebody needs to continue the legacy of a wrestler, in my opinion, the best ones to do it are the family, not somebody who like I don't know tries to steal whatever moves they want to take from Eddie just because their moveset is boring as hell. If his daughter wants to do it, she needs to do it. I met her at WWE World. She's amazing. And if she
yeah,
and if she
Liv
continues
Morgan already
Eddie's
got the
legacy, I'll
job.
be very happy.
Liv Morgan already got that job. Eddie Guerrero's legacy is being carried by Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio is the reason why Eddie is still relevant and WWE is pushing his IP for merch because Eddie Guerrero's legacy is literally a ghost legacy. It's like Dean Malenko. Great skill, but we do not care. It's Dominic
Because Dean
Mysterio making
Malenko,
a
because the only reason Dean Malenko is sort of memorable is for his movesets. I don't remember a single time when I heard his promos or when he was involved in a very
yeah, the
good
hiccups.
storyline, except like one of his best moments that I remember was his return at Halloween Havoc when he was like that masked guy, like Jack O'Lantern, and he got a huge pop. I saw Dean Malenko matches; they're amazing, like pioneers of like lucha libre in America. But he like Eddie Guerrero is way more memorable than Dean Malenko. The promos, the moves, the storylines, the backstage segments. Dean
You said
Malenko didn't have any of that.
Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero's legacy are the same to me. It's just the only reason why Eddie Guerrero is still being remembered is because you got the Rey Mysterio and you got the Dominic Mysterio, and Dominic Mysterio is doing a better job for it because Dominic Mysterio didn't need Eddie's legacy to get over. Unlike Rey Mysterio had to win the whole Royal Rumble and WrestleMania main event while wearing the EG on his arm because of Eddie Guerrero, and even Rey acknowledges it. If it wasn't for Eddie's death, we would Rey Mysterio. I don't even think he would have survived the whole time in this company. He would have been released maybe in 2008,
he
2009.
he wouldn't have been released because first of all
He
he
would
was
have.
already
He
a
would have.
goat ever since like his days in Mexico, his days in WCW. First time he was in ECW, he already showed that he's one of the
Ray,
greatest. Even back then, like he didn't even need a championship even back then.
put this on
So
the
it
clip,
was
John.
all because of
Put this on the
Eddie.
clip. Put this on the clip. Rey Mysterio's career and Rey Mysterio would be terrible and would have been released years ago, maybe 2009, 2010, if Eddie Guerrero wasn't dead. Because Eddie Guerrero's death
Wow.
made Rey Mysterio's career, and that is a fact. Rey Mysterio would not be Rey Mysterio, would not even be maybe a Hall of Famer in the WWE because Eddie Guerrero, if he was still alive, Ray would have been bye bye.
I think I need to listen to the comments that they've been writing to our Eddie clip. That I should like just kick you out of this podcast, do this solo, do this whole
You
thing
could
solo.
Hey, you could kick me out, but you're gonna be a blind wrestling fan and just be generic wrestling mark, giving the same information that people want to hear, getting no views. Unlike myself, I'm putting real information out there and using a great perspective and making people understand that Eddie Guerrero he was a great technical wrestler, but he wasn't a memorable wrestler. And he was only memorable because of Dominic Mysterio doing his legacy correctly and doing it justice and being a great cultural phenomenon as the man he is today. I don't see Eddie Guerrero living up to the expectation that he is now when Rey Mysterio had the realm. No, because Rey couldn't carry Eddie Guerrero's legacy the way Dom's doing it now. And again, Rey would have been gone if Eddie was still alive.
uh,
And if Eddie was still
wow.
alive too, I don't think we would have been like the same amount of prestige that he has now because of his death.
Well, first of all, if Eddie was still alive, so many like WWE would have been so much better, in my opinion. Not to
No,
mention, if Eddie was alive, Chris
he had low
Benoit would
ratings.
also be alive.
He had low
If Eddie was
ratings.
alive, Chris would be also alive.
Chris was on the downturn too in 2007. Like he was fighting the makeshift ECW. Like it wasn't great either. Like WWE was, stuff happens for a reason. You can't control the uncontrollable. But like I know for a fact Rey Mysterio would have been not Rey Mysterio. And hell, maybe Dominic Mysterio wouldn't even like be standing here right now as a wrestler because Rey would have been gone. And I don't think Eddie Guerrero would have the same prestige whatsoever. But in a way, though, I will say that Eddie Guerrero's death did help propel the Hispanic community to go make an effort in the wrestling world and also create diversity in the wrestling world, which is a great thing as well. And also brought in a new audience. So I do give that as a good thing because before when Eddie was champion, yes, a lot more people. The ratings were down, but they were getting a new audience into the WWE. But because of his death, I felt like it united a lot of fans together and brought more people from the Mexican lucha libre roots and other people across the world to come in, and that's an unfortunate effect, but it was a true fact.
But first of all, with Eddie, there were a lot of lucha libre wrestlers along with him, like Rey Mysterio, De Malenko, Psychosis, the Mexicals, like you name it.
Were
Not
they
to
over
mention
in
the
WWE?
AAA and stuff.
Who was over in WWE as lucha libre?
I just told you the superstars. They
No,
were all in
I'm
WWE.
WWE. I'm talking about WWE. Who was over as a
What do you mean
lucha
who was
libre?
over?
Who was over as lucha libre wrestlers?
They were not over, but they were definitely memorable.
So don't
Everybody
get
knows
out
who
of
they
here. Get
are.
out of here, John. They weren't over. Only Rey Mysterio and Eddie. Like what the hell? And
Yeah.
Eddie's become memorable because of Dom. So
Uh,
like
uh,
Chavo
uh,
wasn't even over, and he was with Eddie. He was ass.
yeah, because Chavo was boring. He only
He went to
not to like.
WrestleMania and lost in like 10 seconds to Kane because he's ass.
Well, yeah,
And he's a
because first of
Guerrero.
all,
And Vicky Guerrero was just sleeping with everybody. So like what is this?
oh, excuse me,
It's a fact.
please.
It's a fact. So but anyway, that's my final point. Rey Mysterio would have been bye-bye if Eddie was still alive, and Dominic Mysterio is still carrying Eddie Guerrero's career and legacy. Logan Paul has a better frog splash than Eddie Guerrero, and Liv Morgan is carrying the female wrestling culture of Eddie Guerrero's movesets way better than his daughter could ever do, way better than
Oh,
any other wrestler that wants to pay homage to Eddie. So anyone that wants to like come in and try to say I'm trying to be the next Eddie Guerrero, don't worry. We already have them in the WWE. Try to be the next you, not the next Eddie.
oh, you better get off that stuff that you're smoking down in Boston, because right now you're turning into Chris Benoit at the moment, man. Like,
No, I love my family, but allegedly he did it though. I still think it could have been his wife.
all right, let's move on. Let's move on a bit because, like, I am holding myself not to teleport out there to Boston to, like, to strangle your ass.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'll just do the three amigos that Eddie steals from Japan.
Oh, uh,
Oh yeah, don't forget that Eddie Guerrero Frog Splash stolen from his dead tag team partner. Three Amigos was already made in Japan. So Eddie Guerrero, he's just a repackager. He's not a great innovator.
my God. Okay, then who the hell is a good innovator in your opinion? Then
Rey Mysterio.
that too. Okay,
I,
I can. This is the only time when I can actually agree with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So that's fact.
Ah, damn.
So let's talk about other news. Let's talk about other wrestlers that's leaving the WWE with their legacy. And as you may know, Brock Lesnar retired at WrestleMania, which was
Yes.
unexpectedly after losing to Oba Femi, which I felt like was very obvious that Brock was going to lose to Oba. Oba finally did the justice for the black brothers and sisters out there that Brock like demolished in the past: Kofi Kingston, Bobby Lashley, Big E. So finally, Brock Lesnar has fall down on his knees, and that P fetish lover allegedly is finally gone from the WWE. So how do you feel about that?
I am sad. Like, I was devastated. I was as shocked as you were when he retired at Mania. Like, I did not expect that at all. And I will miss him because I grew up watching this man as one of the biggest, most coolest, most athletic. And being as athletic and as buff for a wrestler, that's almost one in a million. Not to mention leaving WWE, going to UFC and becoming a world champion over there, then coming back to WWE, becoming a champion again. And then, I mean, he already deserves a Hall of Fame induction next year. I think he's going to get inducted.
I feel like Brock Lesnar, to me, his career was great. Again, I don't think it makes him a top 10 WWE wrestler of all time. I don't think
Oh,
I don't think his legacy is a top 10 legacy of all time. Brock Lesnar, to me, is just a quitter.
A
He
quitter.
he's lazy.
He's
He
lazy.
doesn't respect the business.
Doesn't respect the
He
business.
and he is basically a steroid freak, so he's a cheater as well. And amongst the other
Bro,
things,
half of everybody, like I've known you for quite some time, and everybody that you mentioned your favorite superstars are, they were all on steroids. I don't see you judging them.
hey, but at least they could wrestle correctly. Like Brock was just suplex F5 clothesline. That's about it. And hell, he needed Paul Heyman to be his talking guy until he turned into Cowboy Brock and doing knock knock jokes like a little kid. Brock is not a great wrestler. Brock to me, he was a great, like person to put on the marquee because of the legacy he had in the UFC and the legacy he had well, to be honest, his UFC career carried more than his WWE career. If he failed in the UFC, he would be nothing in the WWE. Like Brock was not that guy.
Wait, first of all, CM Punk's career was almost like forgotten. Like his UFC career is forgotten.
Here's the
And
thing.
yet
Here's the
he
thing.
returned and he's still a GOAT.
We all know CM Punk can't win a real fight. And he was old as hell. And CM Punk was, and that was after Brock did the UFC thing. So we already know that WWE wrestlers who can fight in the UFC are able to win in the UFC. We all know CM Punk, and even me during that time, CM Punk was not going to win in the UFC whatsoever. He was skinny, he was old. Those punches and kicks were trash. And CM Punk used it as a way to use it as a PR stunt to say never give up and try to gain sympathy because everyone was hating on CM Punk when he left the WWE, but people getting a new respect for CM Punk for doing UFC. CM Punk going to UFC was not a way of him showing that, oh, I can really fight or whatsoever. It was a way to gain sympathy and earn love again from the fans that hated him because he left the WWE. Trust me, I was not expecting CM Punk to win even one match in the UFC whatsoever, and I'm glad he didn't because he got destroyed, and he used that as a way to reflect and become a better wrestler. When thankfully, it's been showing now these past few years. But Brock Lesnar, if he went to the UFC and lost, he would have lost his respect because he left the WWE because he couldn't handle it and he was on drugs. He couldn't make it in the NFL because he was ass. And then he went to UFC. And then he went to the UFC. If he sucked at, and he lost his first match in the UFC, but it was really good because people were not expecting him.
Yes, it was very good. It was very good.
People weren't expecting him to survive that match, and Dana White wanted him to come back because he has a physical presence, and then he was able to beat a lot of good guys. But again, if Brock kept losing and losing and losing, he would I don't think he wouldn't get the same traction that he would then if he went back to the WWE. Like when he came back in 2012 against when John Cena was standing in the ring and John Cena was biggest baby face at that time, people were crazy because
shit. They haven't seen Brock in like 8 years at WWE.
No, because he had and what was he doing? He wasn't wearing the regular black trunks anymore. He was wearing his UFC attire because that's the character that people wanted to see. They wanted to see UFC Brock. People were not wanting to see early 2000s.
First of all,
his
UFC look. First of all, his UFC look was way better than than what he was using back in the day. And his new gimmick of what was his gimmick called after he returned to WWE now?
The Beast.
Yeah, the Beast. That was even way better because now.
Because he did it because of the UFC. The UFC is what made him the Beast. The Beast came from the UFC. It didn't. He
was
from Brock
the Beast
Lesnar.
way before way before UFC.
He was a loser. He
went
to
loser.
WWE.
The youngest, the undisputed WWE champion in history.
He was a loser.
What do you think about that?
Yeah,
defeating The Rock at SummerSlam as well.
In a pre-scripted sport. So what I'm saying is he is a loser because he couldn't handle WWE, had to take drugs and he ate painkillers and all that other shit, and he had to leave in 2 years. Then went to the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings. Couldn't handle the preseason. He got cut before the first game of the regular season because he was ass. And then he went to Japan against Kurt Angle, and he still couldn't do that good in Japan. So then he went finally to the UFC, and he did well in the UFC because you know why? Because Brock finally showed and gained the respect of people and showed that new gimmick. And because of the UFC presence, he was able to earn that money in WWE. If Brock sucked at the UFC, we wouldn't care about Brock in the WWE. He would have just been another Brock. Brock lost the John Cena match against the Extreme Rules in the Triple H match at WrestleMania, and he was still like a big top dog in WWE because people knew Like, even though it's a pre-scripted sport and the booking was bad, that Brock is still a beast and he can beat the shit out of these guys in real life. And that's why when he took down the Undertaker and broke his streak, and people say, oh, it was the wrong thing to do for Undertaker's streak to be broken, but I see why they wanted Brock to get it, because he had those big matches lost. They wanted just to put that thing there. Brock, the UFC guy, is going to beat this old sack of potatoes that has a concussion at WrestleMania easily, like the way he did. And that's what and what Brock did to the Undertaker in the match is what Brock would do in the Undertaker in a real street fight. And that's what they did, and that's why they did the Beast. But I never liked Brock Lesnar, because when he was champ, he never showed up for work. He was there, here and there. Matches were pretty soft, especially those matches with Goldberg. Bullshit. And then you had his match with Roman Reigns. Weren't that even that good until maybe Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, when he got a little bit better. They were just bullshit and repetitive. His promo work was not great, and he screams
Whoa,
like,
promo work was not great. Like, I can only agree
Paul
to
Heyman
that
carried
to a
him.
point.
Paul
No,
Heyman carried him.
don't you remember? Like, even though he was not the best in the mic, he still had one of the most legendary lines ever. Don't you remember when he had that Eddie promo? When he was literally like making fun of the Mexicans, or what he was saying, I hope you are addicted. Oh, I hope you are addicted to losing. Or when he returned as the cowboy, Brock Lesnar, when he would, don't you remember that funny line when he was like, when he had that feud with Bobby Lashley? Don't you remember that promo? That was legendary.
A knock joke. Like a 5-year-old can do that. John, this is why you're a wrestling mark. You don't look into wrestling promos correctly. Brock Lesnar,
I never said they were amazing. I just said they were so memorable.
Brock is not a top 10 wrestler in the WWE. He is a loser. He is a cheater, abused steroids, painkillers. He couldn't wrestle in the ring. He got gassed out quickly. That's why every match he looked like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer all over his body of the steroid sweat and tiredness that he got from that.
Maybe because he's almost 50 years old.
And also, no, he did when he was 35 too. Also, Brock Lesnar, chicken legs Brock Lesnar, like, you need to start putting some steroids in your calves, bro. You like, my pencils have more thickness than his like weird ass legs. And I saw him wearing women jeans too at a Raw one time as well. So I think he's having a midlife crisis. So I'm glad Brock Lesnar is leaving the WWE as well. Chicken leg Brock Lesnar gone. And I don't want to see this beast or whatever. And also the Oba Femi guy that's beating Brock Lesnar, the guy that's getting, crowd piping noise for his entrances and, losing
crowd noise. I was there at Mania. It was not piped in. The whole stadium was screaming, Oba!
Well, I have videos saying otherwise. I have other videos saying otherwise, and it's
you weren't there. You were not there.
I have people sending me videos because I have a fan base because I am TikTok champion, so people understand who Dr. Adam K is and gives me the information. I don't do fake news on my TikTok. And I will say, Oba Femi, you're running out of breath doing your walk at WrestleMania. Kind of sad. Oba Femi to me is going to be Braun Strowman 2.0. Can't wait to see your Food Network show in a couple of years, pal.
Well, I mean, Braun Strowman show was kind of good. I've been watching it lately. It's very good. It's really good.
Wrestling mark. Anyway, just end it. Hey guys, I know WrestleMania is over, but there's other WrestleMania events that are going to happen that is going to be as great, as awesome, as similar. I know maybe not as great as WrestleMania, but to be honest, WrestleMania was not even that good. But John is a mark. He might still liked it. But you can get the best tickets to get the WWE tickets, or also sporting events, concerts, theater, whatever the hell entertainment you want to do through the use of SeatGeek, the best ticketing site out there. And with the code War of Wrestling, War of Wrestling, one word, you'll be able to save $20 off your tickets. So what are you waiting for? You can just open another tab while you're listening to our podcast, go on SeatGeek and get your tickets now. The NBA playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs as well, and you got some WWE events, baseball's going on, and also some summer concerts as well. So save that money because the economy is going crazy with the help of SeatGeek through the use of my code War of Wrestling, one word, for $20 off.
Well, the diagnosis is in. The medication has been prescribed. Let's see if WWE and the haters and our fans will take it. This has been Ringside Diagnosis with your boy Johnny Beck and my man Dr. Adam K. Bye-bye and bye-you-bye.